Yes, welcome to PCARMARKET Live. My name is David Jacobson, and you are watching PCARMARKET Live inside the market. I am here once again with the infamous Jim Barry.
Good morning.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Good, how are you?
My phone is actually ringing right now. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. My wife, hold on one second. Hold on a second. Is everything okay? I'm on live right now. I'm live doing the podcast. Can I go? Oh, boy. All right, so take care of it. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Just keep going.
So
that's fine.
My cable was out this morning.
Is it still out?
And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to reset the modem. When the modem gets reset, if it's not on, call cable. So she just called me to tell me they never got the payment. She said they canceled the cable, so okay. I'm not a deadbeat, I promise you.
It's happened to me too. It's a horrible feeling because you know when you're on the phone with the person, they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
you just."
Yeah. Oh, we really made the payment. Okay, yeah. Can you? Okay, let me take note of this. What? Yeah, it's embarrassing.
And I won't leave that on automatic because they always mess around with the charges.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why it happens to me too. Because I forget things and yeah.
So sorry, Cablevision. I'm not a deadbeat. Wait a minute. Lights are going out. No. All right. So that's a little bit of reality TV right there. John is like, do you want me to rewind this thing or what?
That's good.
All right. So here we go. Sometimes live TV is, live, whatever this is.
The good news is it'll be back on.
It'll be back on. Now we know the problem. I don't know what she wanted me to do right. It's a payment issue. Okay. Make a payment. My wife's birthday was yesterday.
Yeah,
so
happy birthday.
I have
Christine.
Yes, happy birthday. It was. We had a nice day. So we have a very weird day, weird year going on, and we ended 2021. Like, what do they say with spring and fall? It goes out like a lion. And in like a lamb. Well, this is kind of like we're going into 2022 like a lion. Mm-hmm. Do we go into spring like a lamb? Really, what's going to happen with this market that we're in right now? What are we going to say? But we do have some insight, and I think that we're going to be able to shed some light on some stuff that may make sense. Number one is, before we get going, I want to just mention a few things. Number one is Auto Tiles. Please check out our Instagram. We have those little stories. We haven't done one in a little bit, but we're going to get to them back on track. It's been very, very busy here. We also have Amelia Island coming up. We have something special that's going to happen in Amelia Island. Jim and I are going to be actually walking the field, talking to some car owners, and actually having a live feed. For the first time ever, we're going to be doing that. It's going to be, it should be fun to do that. So if you're at the Works reunion at Amelia Island, and even we may be at the Cars and Coffee, which would be Saturday.
Yeah, a couple of places will be.
A couple of places will be there, so we're looking forward to that. And then
we'll put together a nice video.
We're going to put together a nice video. Hopefully, the first one's going to be a live feed, and then we'll also do a little bit of a production video for the Saturday one. But we just want to get out there, and first of all, we love seeing everyone. And second of all, we just want to share some of the content that we find interesting that usually you would find interesting because we're all, pretty much have the same type of passion here. Please subscribe to this podcast. Just go right down there now and just click that button. So when we put a podcast up, which used to be every 2 weeks, and now it seems like it's once a month, we're doing the best we can here because Jim needs an assistant. So if you have qualifications, you're good on the phone, and you know how to do, if you're very intelligent and you're hardworking, please apply. Jim is definitely in need of some help here. But all kidding aside, it's been very, very busy. So we're doing the best we can to get these out to you, I promise. So we did this virtual Scottsdale auction, which was curated, headed by Greg at our place here, and he did a really nice job with our team in putting together a pretty nice auction, Jim, right?
Oh, yeah. Came out great.
Yeah, it came out really nice, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the cars that we put through this auction and some of the results and why. But we also want to just, I know a lot of the letters and a lot of comments that we're getting is, can you shed some light on what's happening? Like, why is this market, the way it is? And I just put some notes over here, and, I actually put the word rant. You know what I'm saying? I like rant, like what is there anyone that really has an answer for this? I call this like we're near Redline right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we're near the red line.
Well put, yeah.
And we're kind of like, a couple things are going to happen. Either it's going to be somebody's going to lay off the throttle and it's going to kind of just, just cool down, or it's going to keep on this red line. I don't think the market gets any hotter as far as values because it's so ridiculous in some of these results that it's hard to wrap your head around. So I don't think it gets any hotter. I just think if there's too much pressure there and it stays there, it could blow and it could be a burst of a bubble, and then things could be bad for a while. But also if not, then it could ease off a little bit. And I don't think you're going to see, in my humble opinion, is a drastic fall off quickly, like the bottom's going to fall out. And this weekend, my wife's birthday, as I mentioned, and I was talking to her aunt, who's a real estate agent, and there was a house for sale in a neighborhood that is really not an upscale neighborhood. It's always been an average to, in fact, some of the neighborhood is kind of low-income housing and stuff like that. And there's a house there that was listed for $690,000, which is probably up 30%. There was a line around the block waiting to get in, and her customer put in a bid of $50,000 over asking and did not get the house. And I think the thing's almost at $100,000 or $200,000 over. I mean, so whether you're talking about cars, houses, I don't care what it is that you're talking about right now. Why is my head twisted? You're really talking about a world that's pretty much insane right now. We're all trying to wrap our head around it. When you look at it, you say, it's kind of the perfect storm. I don't do a lot of talking right now, so you can fast forward if you're not interested in this. I apologize, but just trying to set up the stage of maybe getting some answers here that maybe Jim and I can shed some light on. But, low inventory, it's a perfect storm, lots of cash. The market did well, right? Crypto did well, all right? I mean, even when it went down last week, it's really,
yesterday things are back up again.
It's back up again. Reevaluation of personal joy of people looking to do things because of COVID, to get out there, spend money, and live their lives. So we're talking about, and also it could be also that, I even put a note here, people are on the influence of alcohol while they're bidding.
At the live auctions.
At the live auctions. Yeah. We were laughing about that yesterday, but I mean, come on, man. Come on. You know what's funny? After we said that, I was like, okay, let's go through a couple of auction results at Mecum and RM and whatever, bring a trailer, but most of the on-site auctions. And I said to myself, if I was the guy that bought that car, after making that comment, you're saying I was drunk when I bought it? Probably. Or I'm an idiot, So we were careful not to go through
It's a real thing that needs to be addressed, though, because, when people are selling their cars, they're like, well, how could I sell mine for 100 when this one sold for 200? And then it's like, we've been at those auctions and you see what happens. None of these people they're not like the educated buyers that we get on our platform, like the people listening to this. If you take the time to listen to this, you're considered an educated buyer, right? Because you care about
100%.
These are people who have a lot of money. They're going out to have a good time. They see the car. They're in a room. They're bidding. They're screaming. Their friends are watching. They buy the car.
That's it. You know what?
That's it.
That's it. So you spend $100,000 more on a car because you're trying to entertain, impress your friends, or whatever it is, or you just don't care. But there's an example of that. I just want to just show everyone here. Actually, hang on a second. Where did I put that?
Right there. Yeah.
So this here, John, you can come on here right now. This is a car that sold at RM. It was $687,000 GT2 RS, right? So the car sells with, how many miles are on this car, Jim?
2,800.
2,800 miles.
Oh, no, 4,500.
I'm sorry, 4,500 miles.
Yep.
We have 4,500 miles. The car sells for $682,000, which means that the seller got the buyer paid $682,000.
Right. 687.
687?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, 687 was the price. Yeah, 687
inclusive of the fee.
Was inclusive of the fee. If you take the fee out of there,
the hammer price was around.
The hammer price was around 620,
right?
Which means the seller netted $590,000.
No, even less than that.
Well, 580 something
No,
thousand.
because 10% of 620 would be 62,000.
Yeah, you see, obviously I'm not great at math.
So about 560.
Okay, so the seller of this car got 560,000-ish for it. Okay, the hammer is at 620. It goes to 682 with the premium, and the seller who sold the car is netting about 580, and you got to ship the car and whatnot. And what's interesting is if you look at a car that we sold just to give you a for instance, right? Was that during the Scottsdale?
Next page. No, next page. It was after.
It was after the Scottsdale?
Yeah.
Okay, just to give you a for instance over here is where is it, Jim?
Oh, no, it was on page 1. I'm sorry. It's newer. It's newer.
It was before this page. How dare you? Okay, so here. So now, here's the car right over. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. Here. So this car does $605,000, okay? And the seller gets $605,000.
The buyer pays $610.
And the buyer pays $610. Why would you not use this platform?
I don't know.
You're not getting more money as a seller, and you are not buying the car any cheaper if you're a buyer.
Right. That's right.
I don't understand. So this is probably the best kept secret in the world right now. The seller got more money than a big auction with all the pageantry and all the beautifulness. We love going to the auctions. I love it there. I'm not knocking the experience, and you're paying for that, right? But if you're going to get more money by selling the car and you're going to pay less by buying it, why would you not use this platform? Bring a trailer. PCARMARKET is again. Listen, they sell a lot more cars than we do at BAT, but you can get your car on within 24 to 48 hours in many cases if we need that car to fit in. If not, maybe it takes 3 or 4 days, but we're moving.
But they prove your point, too, because they had a similar car, and it was a better deal if you compare it car for car than the other one. So it's just it's better to buy on these platforms.
Absolutely.
And you actually get more disclosure. I got yelled at for opening the door once at an auction on a car we were trying to buy. That was, you know what I mean? So here, you can come inspect it if you want.
But you guys hear that? You hear what Jim is saying right now?
Yeah.
You have, when you look at the feedback, the comments, from the educated, yes, there are some issues and some banana heads that come on there and want to cause trouble, and we monitor it very, very well. I was going to give a few examples, but Jim said no because we'll insult some people. So we can't give specific examples. Well, I almost did it.
I've got enough problems.
We got enough problems. We got enough problems. But the thing is, because we just want to share real stuff with you guys, and the bottom line is that when somebody goes on here and puts up a car that has any hair on it or any issues, or there's something even before their ownership, there are people that are going to bring it up. We do not and will not allow people to just throw garbage up their comments. But if they can substantiate it, send something, without just bashing the car for no reason, then we will withdraw it, or we will allow comments to be made, because we want everyone to be treated fairly, right?
Yeah.
And so the due diligence that happens during these auctions, and a lot of you guys know that in the comments, the guys and girls know that, the comments are fantastic, and it's so you're getting probably more due diligence, more information than you can ever do. It's 7 days, and the car sells for less money, and the buyer gets more money. It's just, what an incredible, that's why everyone and their mother and sisters and aunts and uncles and brothers and cousins are going into this business. Okay, Bring a Trailer went into business, and then right after that, we were one of, if not the first, maybe the second one, right after Bring a Trailer. We were around before Cars and Bids, before anyone else, all the auctions. We were the second guys in business. I think there may have been one other one that, from Europe that started maybe at the same time or right before us. But U.S. based, we were the second one in business. And again, there's just so many people doing this right now, which just goes to show you that this is the preferred platform.
Yeah, because it's creating confusion.
Yeah.
It's creating confusion.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's like you said, people aren't going to look at 8 websites a day. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is where the action is like on sites like ours. Obviously Bring a Trailer has a lot of action, but it's the cars go up, and there's just no rhyme or reason to it. And then, they all have different policies, and you have to remember which one is this and which one's that. It's a little confusing.
What do you mean?
There's just different styles. I noticed some of them are doing longer auctions. Yeah, I mean the layout. Like when you open up your phone.
Oh, you mean on the online auction?
Yeah, like I'm used to looking at a certain format. Like when I go in, it's like when I go to a different website, I'm like, oh, okay, where's the comments? Where's this? And you miss something, and you know what I mean? Yeah,
I guess you find with the site that you like, that you're comfortable with. One of the nice things about PCARMARKET is pretty simple layout. It's if you go to Bring a Trailer and you go to PCARMARKET and you go to most of them, they're kind of simple. You're right. Everyone's trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Which the wheel was invented only a few years ago, this wheel. And, you got to let people get comfortable with the platform and the format. But at the end of the day, the math, listen, I always say one thing. Liars can figure, but figures don't lie. I know you laugh when I say that because I say it too many times.
Yeah.
Liars can figure, but figures don't lie. At the end of the day, this is the best place to sell your car for the buyer and the seller. Okay, and listen, with the exception of nuttiness for the seller, I'll give you a perfect example of that, Jim. Right? We went to, let's go to this Mecum, right?
Yep. And they got the picture of the wrong car there. So.
You got the picture of the wrong car. This is a Zr1, right? So we're selling a Zr1. We come up with a reserve. It's a very fair reserve. It was a high reserve on this exact car. The car is about to go live, and the seller sees this thing sell.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And
mind you, 3 weeks ago we set a record on one of these. These cars have been selling. Like if you go to classic.com, they're pretty good with if you want to find the results. You could see these cars selling 140, 150, 160 all day long. We set a record on an orange one for $226,000, and we were like, "Oh my God, what happened?"
Yeah.
So the next one we get, he wanted a number similar, but he was going to put a lower reserve, obviously,
right.
And then this happens.
Yeah.
So
so $297, just about $300,000 for an as new 2019 Corvette Zr1. So this is right before they changed the body style, right?
Right. And mind you,
right when they changed the body style, Zr1. I mean, it's an incredible automobile for the money, but.
I don't think that guy will ever get his money back.
Let me rephrase that. This is the last of the old body style.
Right. The front engine.
The front engine. And, listen, we tried to buy one, remember?
Yeah.
We went to a dealership with the check in our hand. We were picking up one. It was the last year of this car, and then we found out it was an automatic.
You got in and had the wrong gear.
Yeah, the owner of the dealership, I know the son and the father. I went to pick up the car. The father thought it was an stick. And I paid for it, got in the car, ready to drive it away. And it was a stick, so we should have kept it. It was still based on the numbers, it was still worth buying.
It was still worth it.
But
nonetheless, ours sold for $218 shortly after that, which I still think is a really respectable number.
Yeah, it's very, very, very,
We're talking
very
about a Corvette here, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well, this is something else.
No, it is. It's a cool car, but that's
car.
when you think about what you could buy in the Porsche world for $218,000.
But $300,000 for this car, no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless this buyer knows something that nobody knows. I mean, this car is very special, the last of a breed. I'm going to tell you the truth, which is weird. Some of these cars that are selling for these extraordinarily insane prices to us today, I believe because of production numbers and everything else, when you put it all into a pot and mix it up, that it's still okay. Yeah. Because they're it's like these cars are not good with today's money and the way the world is going. Is a car like this is not going to be worth $150,000. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, this is an excessive price. But I'm saying when somebody pays $225 or $230 for this car or whatever, $215, which at that time when we sold ours was really a record. Mm-hmm. I think it was okay for the buyer and the seller. I mean, there is a point when it gets crazy, and then you have another example here, right? Which we actually talked about
with the GT2.
With the GT2, but so basically,
that wasn't an obscene price. It was just that just shows how with the fees and stuff like that, it's more advantageous to not buy at the big auctions. You know what I mean? But
so Jim, what does the average guy or gal do in today when trying to understand? Because you know what, there are collectors, speculators, casual collectors, big collectors. What does somebody do today, seriously, when you're trying to buy a car? And you have, you're not a big collector. You don't have millions of dollars to spend. You just really want to buy a nice car. Like, what do you do?
The thing is here, it's like you said, with the product shortage and then, the inflation that's going on. But then there's the other curveball, too, that people are so scared that you're never going to be able to buy cars like this again. So they're hoarding them. It's like the end of the world syndrome, right? It's like, oh, there's going to be a hurricane. Everyone's got to go buy canned soup. So a lot of people I speak to, they have that sentiment. So I think that there's a few things happening here that are driving this, right? Obviously you have like the inflation and the product shortage and all that, but people are afraid they're not going to be able to buy combustion engine cars anymore, and I think they're hoarding them. So it's kind of like, when there's a hurricane, everyone's buying canned soup or gas or whatever, and they're hoarding it. People are trying to buy these cars because they're afraid they're not going to be able to get them anymore.
All right.
And and that's
so you're saying that's a new ingredient to this soup?
I'm hearing that from people. Like I have a seller.
But people didn't feel like that 10 years ago. This is the end of an era. You're saying
everyone feels like that.
You're saying now that's a new thing added to this.
Yeah. So it's like usually one factor is enough to drive it, but I think the reason maybe the prices are so high is there's two or three factors driving it. You know what I mean? And that's possibly what it is. Because I'm not one to go and buy a new car. I like to take advantage of the depreciation and especially.
Well, you're nuts.
Well, but listen, you have like one new car you bought in here. You know what I mean?
No, but you always. You hate to lose money on a car.
Well, yeah.
All right, which is why he's great for everyone. If he buys a car, he's looking like, I want to drive this car for 6 months, might make some money, and I'm like a little bit of older school.
No, but listen,
I
that
expect
mentality
to lose
is,
money.
I'm in the business, and I feel like that's my, it's like you said this a long time ago, and I stole the line, I repeated it. I never steal people's stuff without giving credit. You said, when you walk into a store to buy a light fixture, you're a banana head buying a light fixture. But when you buy a car, you expect to be treated differently because you're in that business.
Yes.
So we work in this every day. We should have perks that other people don't have. I believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I believe that.
That's. Thank you for remembering that, because that's very true. I was actually buying a light fixture in a store. And I felt like I got totally ripped off. I knew nothing, and I was like,
it's not your world.
It's not my world. But when I buy a car, I do expect. By the way, great negotiating tool if you're a car guy trying to buy a car from a dealer. You got to say, listen, this is our world. This is what I want to be taken care of.
Yeah.
When I go buy furniture, I feel like I'm getting, gazoogled. But when I'm buying a car, come on.
Yeah, so that's it. So I'm not one to go and buy a new car. But, I always figured maybe when I'm 50, I'll be like my friend, Jamie, and just go order a Porsche, and actually buy it brand new and all that type of stuff. But probably won't be able to by the time I'm 50. Yeah, I mean, it'll be an electric car.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad. So I think that's part of the driving factor here.
So, John, welcome to my world. So basically, I thought I got you. Production value. So welcome to the Scottsdale auction. We did a virtual Scottsdale auction, and we sold some cars. We curated a special collection of cars, which we will be doing again for the Amelia Island auction.
Very exciting.
If you have, well, we'll get into that in a second. But so this was exciting. We had some low mileage, rare examples. In fact, what you're looking at over here is one of them. This Viper, which was a GTC ACR black stripe edition. I love when they do that. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is add some of those little acronyms. I mean, some acronyms and some black edition, and you can add 30% to your value. But look at that. That was a beautiful video for the seller of this car. That, I mean, the palm trees don't hurt, but that's beautiful. But anyway, so let's check this out. We're going to go through these cars quickly. Mm-hmm. Jim didn't even take any notes. We're going to do this on the fly because it actually hits a full gamut of cars. Yeah. And here's a perfect example of cars selling for fair prices. Mm-hmm. And the buyer's getting treated fairly, the seller getting the right money for the car, and all is okay in this world. Like here's a 65.
Which you don't see every day, that's for sure.
You don't see every day. Beautiful, beautiful blue. What blue is this? This was the
sky blue.
Sky blue.
And this is one of the first 911s made. They were still making 356s when this car rolled off the assembly line. So it's very, very cool.
Absolutely gorgeous. So look at this. Look at what it is when the hubcaps on the 65. Before they went to the steel wheels and the aluminum wheels, just really fit this car very, very well. Just an absolutely gorgeous car. Now, again, sympathetic restoration. The car was a very high-level driver, right?
Yes.
The car did very, very well. The car sold for, again, when you look at a fair price, it sold for $220,000, so $230,000 all in. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, here's a car that if it was 5 years ago, probably would have been $250, right?
Yeah.
This is the straight.
And last year would have been $160.
It would have been $160. Here's a perfect example of what we were saying that, in one of the other podcasts is the F-bodies, the early cars, are not enjoying the same craziness as the newer cars.
Right.
I think that this is a perfect example of the age of the buyer of these, is
it's going to start to spill into these a little bit because people say, screw it, I'll just buy one of these. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because, especially if you want a car to drive, you can go buy an F-body and put a 3.6 in it or something like that if you want to drive it.
Oh, yeah, you can
instead of spending crazy money on a 993 or something like that.
You can get hot rod, you can go crazy. But anyway, a gorgeous car, does 225, 230 all in. Beautiful, beautiful example of an early 911.
That wasn't part of it, but you can click on it anyway.
This one here wasn't?
No, because remember that sold after.
So this sold in deal tank afterwards. This here. So this is a Zr1. This is really like a garage find.
This is the first Zr1, right?
Yeah.
90? Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think the first Zr1 ever. I mean, they got the name from years and years ago. But this is the first modern Zr1.
Okay.
After the 80 87.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
The 84 redesign. But this car was a big deal because it had that key that actually let you do killer mode or regular mode, and the car was a performance. Back then, it really just set a new level of performance for really any car. But here's a car that had 4,000 miles on it. It did sit in the garage for a long time, undriven.
Some work,
needed a little bit of love, but the car did $36,000. If you're a Corvette guy,
which is fair,
or girl, this is a beautiful, beautiful car. I always love these, man.
We sold one last month for 43 plus the fee, so that just gives you an idea. So this is fair that the buyer has a few $1,000, which is probably all it needs. Just go do some service, put some tires on it, detail it.
Yeah, I mean, this car, again, definitely needs a little love, maybe a paint correction, to bring it to a real higher level.
Well, it is GM paint, so
it is GM paint,
it can only go so high.
This is true. This is true. So. Then we'll just bounce back over here. Then we had this. You love this car, man. You really, really love this car.
Yeah, I love it.
So this was a 1996 E36 M3 individual Euro spec in an incredible color. That what was the color called here again?
It was mint.
Mint?
Yeah. And this is one of either one or one of two or one of three. There's like almost none of these in existence. And it's the European spec car. So there's either no differences or some subtle differences or major differences between US spec and Euro spec cars. So it was a big difference because the US spec car was like a 250 horsepower car. And this has, I have to look at the exact, but this is pushing over 3. So it's a big difference.
That's some horsepower with the weight and size of this car.
It's a big difference. But, and it's funny, I have never driven the European one. I want to make it a mission to do that now to see, because there's something I like about the US spec one. Like, these are my favorite M3s because the E30s are the coolest looking. Those are the ones with the flares and all that.
Right.
And the newer ones just became luxurious, just like the Porsches, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's very hard to not like driving this car if you like driving an air-cooled 911. It's a very visceral car. So I don't know if the extra horsepower would do it for me, because I kind of like the 250 horsepower is like perfect for back roads. This might be too much, but I'd still like to drive it.
You think it's too much power?
I've driven the generation after this. I've had a lot of them, and they have about 333 horsepower in them. And it's not too much. But there's just something. The other one's like perfect. The 250 horsepower is perfect.
Look at the little M stripe over here, and the front seat as well. Yeah,
this has the Vader seats.
I love these seats, man.
It has the stitching, which is very special. This is a special car.
Special car, and it really got the love and the attention and the comments, and it sells for almost 70 grand.
Yeah, so just so people know, if this was a US spec car in a normal color with this mileage, it's a $25,000 car. I mean, so the ad you got for the one-off color, and because the European car will maybe add, I don't know, 10 to 15,000 to the price, roughly.
Right.
Yeah,
then the color,
color, and the condition seems to be. I mean, it doesn't look like it has that kind of mileage.
Yeah, no.
They definitely kept it nice.
Well, you know what? It was also presented the way it should be. When a car's this special, you present it this way. And again, without going into a rant, cars, all you have are photos and words.
Yes.
Photos and words.
Yep.
By the way, we have a newsletter coming out. Remind me to say something about that before, which is going to be a monthly newsletter from PCAR, which is going to be fantastic and very informative. But again, photos and words, when you look at this car, the pictures should, depict the car's, not just the condition of it, but also its sportiness and its intrigue and its magic. Like, look at this picture. You know what I mean? This car, this makes you want to be in this car. Rather than putting it in a parking lot. You know what I mean? So care about your photos. It means everything. It means everything. Anyway,
great car.
Great car. Next car we had over here.
993 Turbo.
993 Turbo. This car,
same owner as that Zr1.
Same as Zr1 during the Scottsdale auction. This gentleman here. This was a charity auction. This gentleman was so generous who won the car, and he
actually gave more money.
He gave more money.
Nice guy, yes.
We don't want to say his name, although he should get credit for it. But he actually gave more money to the charity than he paid for the car. He paid $302,000 for the car. The car, had some needs. The car sat in a barn. Really almost like in some giant property with like 20 garages. It just sat there for years.
Yeah.
And obviously it needed love when ultimately it's going to need some love, paint and some cleaning up and stuff like that.
He got it yesterday. He called me, and I think he kind of got a little the shock of it. It's in the shop now. And he's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do all this work. But you know what?
He's going to get a beautiful car.
I went through it with him, and I said, it's almost like what you expected. I said, there's always going to be little surprises. But I said, part of it's the reward of bringing this car needs to be restored to its former glory. I mean,
it does.
It's a shame to let something like this sit.
It's a genuine 6,000 mile like garage find, barn find situation. And when the love and some money's put into this car, it's going to be a very, very, very special car, and it already is. And you know what? With what he did, putting that type of money, towards the charity, this car.
He's going to keep us.
He's going to keep us in the loop.
Yeah.
This is going to be nothing but a blessing for him, and we really would like to know, what happened. We want to see pictures of the car when it's done. We love that stuff. So thank you again. Thank you.
It went to the right guy, because he's not going to cut any corners with it.
No,
I mean, he's doing everything.
He's going to do the right thing for it.
He's doing everything to it. Yeah. So
then we have over here a Darushki 911R. Okay, now what's different about this car, normally I would say what's really special about this car, but what's different about this car is it actually has a dual mass flywheel instead of a single mass flywheel. It just didn't seem to matter because, first of all, it's killer looking. Second of all, it did a very, very fair, reasonable, and strong number. Brought all those together. A private party out of Paradise Valley, Arizona. A nice gentleman sold this car. It did $475,000 all in. Again, $470,000. If this was sold at an auction, where you had to pay your fees, this car would have been $510,000 plus dollars. So this is a perfect example of the seller got $470,000. And the buyer paid $475,000, and everybody is happy here. And a lovely, gorgeous automobile. 911R, we have one here, and it's one of the greatest cars I have ever driven. Okay, it's not the hype. It's not about hype. Ours is a single mass flywheel, and I do love that.
And a radio delete.
And a radio. Well, ours has the quirkiness of the single mass flywheel and the way it drives and sounds, and it's kind of cool. But ours also has the radio delete with the big hole in the dash.
Yeah, which is cool.
But when we ordered that car, we actually did that for that reason. But this is a gorgeous car, and it did right where it should be. Right? Would you think?
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to be in the fours. That's all you can really say at this point about 911R. There's not enough of them to really just give you an exact value. That one didn't sell, but you could show it. Yeah, that car, it got up to, it was a nice presentation. Great seller, great car. Just an example of a seller who I think is a little ahead of the market. But,
definitely a little ahead of the market.
That's just my opinion.
No. Listen to me. It's a gorgeous car. It was the head car for our auction. Got a tremendous amount of attention. It doesn't have the factory correct bumper on it. It doesn't. It has aftermarket.
It has some upgrades. From what I was told,
the carbon fiber is not original to the car. But however, that's ridiculous because it doesn't make a difference. You can always put the bumper back in the carbon.
That's right.
And it's a nice upgrade.
And I believe Road Scholars did the stuff which obviously you can't get much better of.
I'm sure that they did a beautiful job in it. So a 16,000 mile speed yellow 993. I'm sorry, 993 1997 993 turbo. But it's amazing how these seats wear, though, right? I mean, this car looks like it's got 50, 60,000 miles on the seat because that's just the way that this.
If I have to have one more conversation about that with a buyer who doesn't know, between that and the odometers, guys, if you're buying a 993, don't be surprised if it has 100 more miles than it's showing on the odometer. They all break. They all break.
The speedometers?
They all break.
Yeah, because of the fact if you press the.
It's that, or the cars that sit for a long time, or just whatever it is. And
listen, Porsches are not perfect, man. They have some issues. This is one of them. The seats don't wear well. The odometers break. It's not the end of the world, but you could tell. Yeah, you could tell what you're buying.
We had a car that never went live. It was a local man, nice older man. He took his car to Linmore for service, and he looked at his receipt right before he was about to buy it, and he noticed that the odometer was the same. And he realized that his gear stopped working, and the car had maybe like 150 miles more on it since he took it for the service. It was like 6 months ago.
Right.
He says, "I can't sell the car." He goes, "I don't want to disclose it. I don't want to lie to somebody. I'll just keep it." I was like, over 100 miles? I'm like, just say that it stopped. You show the timeline. kept the car. It's the craziest thing in the world. People want to know something? I
get it. Listen, we have a car that we're name was that we bought, a very, very expensive car. We bought the car, did not drive the car at all for 2 years. It sat in the museum here. It's an expensive car. And what happened was we took it out one day, right from the museum floor, took it out, and the odometer's not working. And I'm filming the odometer because I'm just showing the car.
I remember this, yeah.
I'm showing the car is out in the wild because we never drove it. I think we drove it when it came off the truck around the block, put it inside, and really never drove it again. And it sat there, and the odometer froze. We found out afterwards. So I posted the post, and I get a text from someone who knows me and says, people are screen shooting this. Don't ever sell this car. TMU, TMU, TMU. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm not going to say who it was, but it was almost like, it was almost like it was a pleasure to see that happening. And so we brought the car back in. It turns out the odometer was stuck, frozen because it was not driven, and we fixed it, and subsequently, drove the car again. I wasn't going to take a video of it again and show everyone it's working because it was irrelevant. But you know what? Guarantee you, when I sell that car, some banana head is going to come on there and say, yeah, that car's TMU, TMU. Yeah. I understand how people...
Well, it doesn't matter because, the experts know how to look at the cars. It's like I was talking to the gentleman who bought that turbo. And same thing, he said they plugged it in because you could see there was a sticker on it that the odometer was repaired, and they plugged it in and they got the hours off of the engine. I didn't know you could do that on 993, so that's pretty interesting.
Very cool.
And he says if you do the math, he says... you'll never get the exact mileage, but if the car has 6,800 miles on it, it doesn't have 15,000. It's somewhere between like 5,000 and 8,000 miles. So he says it's going to be right. Yeah. So you can do, and then also because we've had a lot of them over the years, right? You could tell by the cosmeline underneath the car, how it's worn from like the rocks hitting it and the debris and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways you could tell.
Yeah, this was gorgeous, but yeah, you're right, and the truth prevails. Mm-hmm. So let's get back over here and let's pop this up. That's the
infamous Zr1.
This is the infamous Zr1. And again, this car came to us. The reserve was higher. He made the reserve higher, but... because of the Mecum sale, right. Because of the Mecum sale, and it's also an automatic, this car.
Yes.
Was that an automatic?
So the Mecum one was an automatic,
yes. Sheesh. And this car was a track pack. I'm not quite familiar with exactly what you get there, but I'm sure it adds $5 at least to the sale price. And
scroll down a little bit so we can see the picture.
Listen, you have to be I'm not a white car guy, I gotta be honest with you, but I think the black one looks way more sinister and killer looking. But this is gorgeous, and some people there's a local guy over here, Sergio, right? He only buys white cars. Right. That's it. So there are people that love white cars. So beautiful vehicle, does 223,000, and seller gets the right money for the car. Buyer buys it at what we consider to be the really right number on this car.
Yep.
Even maybe a little higher for this market. But beautiful car, good sale during the Scottsdale auction. Then you have this. You saw the video of that beautiful car. This is the GTC ACR Black Stripe Edition 2017 Viper. Once again, an absolute gorgeous automobile. Jim, what do you think of this?
I think it's really cool. Can't talk about the value because I think there's 4 of them. So, the only thing you could really compare this to is a normal GTC versus a ACR Extreme, which we've sold several of them, and there have been several of them on Bring a Trailer. They all sell for like $230 to $280.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this, even though it's not an ACR Extreme, it's a special edition. So $254 seemed fair.
Yeah, and you know what? Look at this thing. I mean,
Seller was a nice guy though too. He was like
Seller was a really nice guy. Listen, you look at this car, you look at the pound for pound value, you know what I mean, cost per horsepower compared to some of these exotic cars out there, and this is a downright steal. It looks as sinister and badass as anything else on the road, and I
like this a lot better than the Corvette.
I mean,
V10 and
oh my goodness, and you know what?
They went out with a bang with this car. The middle Viper, the first gen was it was the first gen, but it was cool because everyone likes them. The second gen was a horrible car. This is a great car. The final one.
Yeah, this is. We have any sound here? We have any sound?
I think it's electric.
I'm not plugged in.
It's an electric Viper.
I'm not plugged in.
It's all right. He already got in the garage. It's too late.
Hold on. I'm going to rewind it. I'm going to pop this in, and I'm going to rewind it. Yeah. Sorry, there's no engine sound, but we can just get a little funky. Let's just hang out here, Jim, for a moment. This just reminds me of my DJ days. Seriously. That's it. Oh, see that? Look at that. Perfect timing. Anyway, I was a DJ, so don't laugh when I say that. I used to...
That's your initials, yeah, DJ.
No. But I used to actually be a DJ. I still have my SL1200 turntables. That's when mixing was actually mixing. When you actually, weren't using like electronics to make the beats per minute match. The good old days. Anyway, let's just go to this Amg Gtr. I remember when a local collector over here brought one in when it first came out. He got the first one in this color, as a matter of fact. He drove up here and was like, wow.
Yeah.
So this is some car, man. And you know what? He paid big money for it. This car actually is a pretty reasonable value right now.
Yeah.
See, we talk about this. There are values. There are pretty decent deals out there right now on cars that are kind of... Their identity is not known to be, hey, is this going to be a monster collectible?
Yeah, well, because they're still making this car. That's why. So, if you can go in and order one, and, if you get one for MSRP or even a little over, this is a 2018, so you're not going to pay over MSRP for it. Although this is a 30-mile.
Yeah, but what was the MSRP on this car?
You got to look. It's in there somewhere. I think it's in the upper ones.
Hold on a second. Sorry to be bouncing this around.
We're not far from MSRP. No, it's in. You got to look at the pictures.
Oh, the pictures?
Yeah, there's a picture of it somewhere.
Hold on.
There it is. Of course, the last one. Say 199.
199.
Yeah.
Well, so you're buying this car well under original list price, and in today's market, listen, a GT3 is selling for $80,000 over a 19.
Yeah.
So I understand there's a difference, and
yeah, well, this car with a couple of miles on it's like a 140 car. So someone paid 165 plus the fee to get a 30-mile car. So I think it's a great value. You know what I mean?
It is, and it's a pretty insane looking car. I mean,
it's an awesome car.
And performance-wise, and if you've never driven this car, one of the most shocking things about this car, because I had not the R, but
the S, yeah.
Yes, is that it is extremely light feeling. Mm-hmm. The front end looks like it's going to be a truck because it's long, and you got this. You sit in that car, it's like, oh boy, here we go, and then you realize how nimble it is, and it's almost surreal. Yeah. It's a shocking experience when you. It is,
but this car is weird to me. I prefer the version that we had here because remember you had that coupe. And then in the summer, I don't think you got to drive it. I had that convertible for like a week. Remember the GT convertible?
Yes,
car?
Yeah.
That's my favorite version of this car.
Because it's more of a Grand Touring.
Yeah, I mean, but it is a sports car. You could drive this hard. It handles like a Porsche.
That's what I mean.
But Porsche, but you know what I mean? But this is just, I would buy a GT3, before I bought this.
I agree with you 100%, which is the market also agrees with you, obviously, because of the pricing of these cars and as opposed to their original window stickers, but just a shockingly amazing car to drive. I don't think a lot of people that have not driven this understand how special it is.
Anyway, they did a heck of a job. There's no question about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
They did a heck of a job.
And the interior is killer. That freaking that whole center console with the dash, beautiful job, man.
Yep.
Then we have the bus.
Well, the GT3.
I'm sorry. Let me go back here. The GT3. Hold on. This GT3, we got to talk about the GT3, 2011 997.2 GT3 RS paint to sample. Yes, it is a paint to sample. It's guards red, but you don't see many guards red, if hardly any, in the 2011 GT3s. So it was a paint to sample in that year. But man, does this look beautiful? Yeah,
no, it's amazing. And these cars are on fire. I mean, these cars have almost doubled.
Sheesh.
It's crazy.
350.
It was not, I was at a Cars and Coffee less than a year ago, and someone bought one of these with a 1 in front of it, and it wasn't 199. It's crazy what these cars are doing. But I understand why.
But look at that. Look at that. Would you just look at that?
Yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Killer car.
It is. I mean,
and he's one of the best sellers, especially in the GT3 world. It's Doug.
DT.
Yep. He's really
in the
good.
house. He's a great seller, very passionate. And you know what? We like sellers that love the cars.
Well, he's also respected for his knowledge in this
That's what I mean.
world, yeah.
He's as passionate, and he's super knowledgeable, especially on the GT3s.
Slightly mental and certifiably insane. It also has the front axle lift, and it's working properly when you see the word lift. And certifiably insane.
So anyway, we love Doug because he really is passionate, and I love his sense of humor as well. So Yeah, great car. Did a nice price, really,
Yep.
for everyone. And that's one thing about those cars, Jim, is like, where do they go? Yes, it's a lot of money, man. $320,000 for that car now.
Yeah.
But where are they going? The end of the Metzger. It's a stick. It's paint
Yeah.
to sample. It's got 10,000 miles. That's what I mean about sometimes when you think you're overpaying, it's like,
Well, you're not.
I don't think you're overpaying.
People paying $250,000 for a new Turbo S. This is a better car.
Yeah.
They're paying that for a new GT3. This is a better
Well,
car.
there you go.
Yeah.
Say that again. In comparison to what's available new today, this is
Right.
more fun, same money, if not, right?
That's why I think they're doing that. Yeah, I mean, because this car should be worth more than the new ones. So that's that.
Very interesting, Mr. Agavano. Very interesting. So,
If I had to guess, we have a line forming outside, by the way. It's 9 o'clock.
yeah, well, the crew wants to get. We started this early, but anyway, we're going to finish up over here. I know you guys are having so much fun, you don't want us to stop, or either that or. Wait, I hear him snoring. Well, I got to get to this car, man. I'm sorry, but I got to get to this car because this is a. This is beautiful. Mm-hmm. This is a 65 T1 Samba 21 window bus walk through. These cars were doing $200,000 at Barrett.
Yeah, these are value now.
At Barrett Jackson 8 years ago.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of the new younger people with money that are buying these cars, like the GT3s and 993s even, which has kind of like a hybrid buyer.
Yes.
And then you get older than the 993s, and you end up getting into the older buyer, and they're not responding to the pricing the same way that these other ones are. This is an example of that. This car is unfortunately not going to be $200,000, I don't believe, ever again. But this guy who bought the car is taking it from New York, and he's bringing it to Manhattan Beach. And he's going, we are opening up an office in Torrance,
Yep.
which is right next to Manhattan Beach, and we plan on seeing this thing on the roads. We're going to call this guy, maybe he'll take us for a ride. But this is absolutely stunning. Joy to, if you've never driven a bus, it's the ultimate in what? In charming.
Yeah.
You know, you sit on top of the front wheel. You just don't want to drive fast.
You don't want to hit anything.
You don't want to hit anything for sure, but you're also, don't look at your clock. We're going to finish up just strong, okay? Were they asking you to come in?
I saw something.
Hey, turn your phone over. Seriously, turn it over. Don't look. We're going to finish up strong for them. You sit on top of the front wheels. You drive the car. You don't want to drive fast. You're struggling to get up the hills, but when you get there, it's a relief. I mean, it's just such a joy to drive this thing, man. It really is. So anyway, the car sells for $120 all in, which, man, oh man, that's a very fair deal for a really nice bus. So congratulations to everyone on that vehicle. Are we going? This is another one that sold that
Oak Green
day?
Touring, yeah.
Oh yeah! Wow, there's a couple quick more. We're gonna finish these. I'm sorry, we're gonna finish these.
We have to finish.
Okay, here you go. 6,000 mile 991 GT3 Touring. PTS, man. PTS. This is an oak green, which everyone knows. If you don't know, it's Ferdinand Porsche's favorite color. I think this was the one he made that was his. This is the millionth 911 was oak.
No, that was Irish green. The millionth was Irish green.
Let's
bet you.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, it was Irish green.
Remember with the gold letters? And,
I do remember
we
that.
have an Irish green car right behind you.
But unless I'm wrong here, you guys could chime in here. This was Ferdinand Porsche's favorite color.
There's an Irish green Touring sitting right in there in the detail bay. It is stunning. I can't stop looking at that.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to take a picture and show that car. That's actually a friend and a customer who. Wow,
he's a friend.
That's good. He's a friend customer, but a customer friend. We are going to show that, but this car, if I'm wrong, tell me. I think this was Ferdinand Porsche's favorite color.
It's possible. I didn't know him.
The oak.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know either. But so anyway, this car again does $275,000. So $280,000 all in for a Touring with almost 6,500 miles on it. It's really a gorgeous automobile. Let me just pop this in. One of the things about this car that's really really strange is that it's really a split in the middle of the people that like the seat, which seats they like on the car. You know what I mean? Like this has the racing seats, right?
Yeah, with the houndstooth.
The houndstooth is core. Look at that, man. Look at that. And when you're in this seat, there's nothing better. But to me, getting in and out of this seat is a nightmare. And we just ordered our 992 GT3 Touring with the regular seats. And believe me, it was debatable because these are better looking. But what a gorgeous automobile here. But Jim, anything else to say about this? I mean, that's big money.
No, yeah. I mean, these have just fluctuated like forget it. You know, there was like a minute where Tourings were going a little under sticker, right? And then now they're just way back up over again. We'll see if it lasts. But
Hey, the 99. This is most likely the 992 version is probably the last GT3 touring in a petrol motor or a full petrol motor. If they go, I don't know if they're going to keep it. Sometimes you read something that says, oh, they're never going to go to electric on a GT3 or at least not.
I mean, they may just get very expensive and keep building it, right? If there's a demand for it. Like, look, people pay $1 million for a Singer or $2 million for a Singer. Why wouldn't Porsche build a car like that?
You know what? Wow, it's an interesting thought. Almost open up another company because I think they have to go all electric by 2030.
Yeah.
And that's from what I understand. So imagine they open up another subsidiary that's not under the same guidelines with low production cars and go into competition with some of these. Wow, wow, that's a conspiracy theory that may come true. Interesting. Okay, so then we're going to go over to the last two. What was really cool, man, really cool is this.
These are one-off cars. These are both really cool.
You think this is one-off? You think?
Oh, yeah. This one, the next one is too, but this is definitely
69 Mustang Mach 1 Stampede 572 6-speed, big motor, big power. Gap Racing in Houston did this car. Look at this. Look at this. I think the best question that someone had, which no one can answer, is where does the rear license plate go? And the truth is, the builder or the seller said, I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay, because it doesn't go anywhere without I don't know, Velcroing it to the tailpipe or something.
I mean, think about the purpose of a license plate. Why would you need a license plate? Everyone, if he ran a red light, it was the guy with that blue Mustang. That you don't need a license plate.
No, you're right. There's no reason for a license plate. I agree. But beautiful car. Beastly, not for everyone, right?
Yeah.
You know, the car does 160,000 all in. I think easily this car could have done 200 grand. You know what I mean? And
that's what you've been to this before with the American cars, the custom cars. You get such a value if you didn't build it, because I think there was like 700,000 total invested into this car.
Yeah, Yeah, that's the way to buy it. You never want to build these. You want to buy them in look at this thing.
It's like building a bowling alley in your basement. You're not getting the money back.
You're not getting. There's no resale value there. But a cool car, and the buyer's gonna have a lot of fun. Callaway, this was very cool. A 4,000-mile 1998 Callaway C12. This is cool. I remember this car when it was on the front cover of magazines when it was happening. When I was younger. And look at it. It's just got this elongated, badass-looking supercar look to it. Back when it was kind of unique, and now everybody and their mother has a supercar out there. But look at this. But who bought this car, Jim?
He was a friend of Reeves Callaway, from what I was told. I never spoke to him, but I was told that by the seller, because we know the seller, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. And Reeves Callaway, I think he even commented on the car, right?
I believe so, yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Beautiful, beautiful car, low mileage example. Great seller, by the way.
Yeah, he loves. The guy daily drives a Callaway pickup truck. This guy, so.
Well, the buyer?
Yeah, the seller.
The seller?
Yeah, he has like a Denali
Chris
Callaway.
does?
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Oh really?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool, very cool. And then finally, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So here's the deal. Virtual Amelia Island is happening on the 1st. If you have a car to sell, we have a few lots available. It's full, but we're looking to put some special cars there and kind of move some cars around. So if you have a special car to sell, that's something that is going to really make people say, wow, get it, submit it to us for that event, which will be 3 days of a preview, 1st to the 3rd, and then the auction 3rd to the 7th. 3rd to the 10th,
it ends on 10th,
and then on the 10th, boom, we're going to have, like we did last time, big crowd, lots of people online. We're going to do some new stuff this year, so we're very, very excited, very, very excited about that. So the newsletter, we have a new addition to PCARMARKET that her name is Sujin Kim. A lot of you in the car community know who she is. She is well known for Ferrari and and McLaren, Porsche. She's an events coordinator. She's an ambassador for the automotive world. She is known by many and loved by the car community. She's now part of our team. We are very excited to have her. She is going to be getting information to share, like newsletters and also our events and so forth. So I have some big news. Number 1 is Sujin. Number 2 is our newsletter will be starting to go out, which will give you some really cool information. Number 3 is Driven to America is happening on... Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
I know. We sucked the resources out of this place, but Sujin's here.
No, she's here.
It's going to be bigger and better than ever. It's going to be September 25th Oh my goodness. I believe Sunday, the 25th of September, and it's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be at one of the most beautiful properties. Again, as you know, we celebrate Max Hoffman, and the automotive community comes together of the cars that came into America from Europe with a focus on Porsche, but we're adding a lot of other cars, and it's going to be at a beautiful Gatsby setting on the North Shore of Long Island. So make your plan, September 25th, to come to New York. We'll give you on the site, we'll tell you, where you could stay, and some other things happening. We may even have an event the night before, we're not sure yet, at our museum at the PCARMARKET headquarters. It's going to be sponsored by PCARMARKET, but we also have some cool sponsors that are coming up as well. So Driven to America, check out the newsletter. Please subscribe to this podcast. Check out our This Is My Car. We didn't do any more new episodes, but go back and check out some of our old episodes. We're still putting that together. Anything else?
That's it.
The banging down the doors to come in. Thank you for watching. We know you could spend your time doing anything, but we really appreciate you spending time watching this. Check out PCARMARKET every day for our newsletter. I mean, our listings that are being coming out every morning. Talk about hurrying up. Thank you so much. Have a great day.